Hey, Drew.
We are live. What's up? Hey, Andrew, how's it going? Thanks for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for joining in who are watching. All zero of you right now, but there's going to be more people later. So we'll go ahead and get started. Andrew Clark from Tyson's Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to this live stream, which has become a show now. So welcome. Thanks for joining
Hey,
me, man.
Drew, Rocket Man. First of all, thank you for having me, but better yet, thank you for being part of Tyson's. I mean, when we started sharing visions, and again, back in December, you're killing it with your webinar. And then again, I appreciate you taking over the helm, lining up our networking. Because really, my job is to see the gifts and what you brought to the table. I'm glad we can harness it here at the chamber and just going live, literally, and then we'll go live, in person. But thank you.
No, thanks, man. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm happy to be part of it. So for the folks at home who don't know what Tyson's is, first of all, and those in the area who know what Tyson's is and don't know what Tyson's Chamber is, do you want to tell us more about that and about what you do?
Sure. Tyson's is like a 2 square mile blot on the radar that probably takes up or 25% of the income revenue for the state of Virginia. It's this crazy epicenter with, sort of where the roads cross, where the metro cross, where business comes together, and just fortunate enough to grow up here and love the place, and fortunate enough to be asked to take over the chamber back in July, and then from that is again, Tyson's is just a treasure trove of talent. So it's pretty easy to expand just because of what Tyson's is, but with the richness of who we have. I mean, Drew, case in point. I mean, just over our lunch, discovering you and the other people you bring to the table. I mean, yeah. So the Tyson's Chamber is just Tyson's live, just like this show, and making it happen. You notice
That's
how
awesome.
segue? Isn't that pretty good?
That's a great. I love that. I love the segue. That's one thing that you do very well, is segueing into different things. And
Yeah.
I like the plug there. I appreciate the comments, the compliments as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to be part of this effort and to bring networking effectively back to Tyson's in an intentional and effective way. I think that there's a lot of opportunity, like you said. I mean, there's a ton of talent around Tyson's, around the DC area in general, but specifically around Tyson's, and we can bring that out and really showcase it and help develop and grow everyone else's business together.
Yeah, I mean, when you were doing your webinar, going back to artistry, as you put it, it's the touches, is giving reasons for people to come together, but being a methodical nature, just not haphazardly, I better call Bob. Or you just like, Jesus, somebody changed, invite them in, enroll them, ask them a question. And again, that's where relationships, and then what matters. When it matters, then you do business. So again, it was when you're looking forward to, in the sense of opportunities grows, it's really for my job is to seize the talent in the moment. So again, that's why going back to you in the sense of what we're building and, sharing that. I mean, literally the car show, out of the blue came a conversation during lunch. I wish, our car people could have a place to park their cars or show off their cars. 250 exotic cars are now coming to Tyson's on March 7th with could be a quarterly show. I mean, that's crazy revenue for the patrons, for the restaurants. And again, that's just stealing a playbook from like Vicky Worker, who's just, God, just know your stakeholders. In Tyson's, we're restaurants, we're people. Eventually, what our goal is to create a community. But like you did on the webinar, you have to do breakout sessions and you have to break it down to micros so people get to know each other, one-on-one, then two-on-one, then they can play bridge.
Or poker for more modern.
Yeah, man, we can't bring that up, but maybe hypothetically.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I mean, and to your point about building relationships, I mean, business is about relationships ultimately, right? I mean, if you're not making relationships with your potential clients or your business partners and referral partners, you're not going to be doing business long term, honestly. And let's just call it what it is. It's not about. I mean, yes, you can get those quick wins in the short term wins. And I use the term very loosely. You get the quick cash, short term, right? And then you may do really well for a year, maybe two, maybe even three if you're really lucky and have that wide of an audience. But after a while, you're gonna start seeing that dip, right? Because you're not gonna get return customers. They'll see how you are. They'll see how you are with people, and your referral partners are not going to refer to you anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, it starts from the beginning with people with the best of intentions. God, Carl's great. Let me and they start selling you, and I like from the get go, literally. All I need you to do is open the door for a dialogue. And then from that, let me introduce, we'll break bread and stuff happens. People really try to rush the process. You meet, you like, you trust, then you do business. And it's to your point is, my God, can you imagine spending all that time for a sale? How crazy are you to be doing that shit? Oops, sorry, live. Um,
You can say as much as I mean, I curse on the show pretty often, so feel free.
yeah, but to the point is, come on, unless, I don't know. I've been doing business, working with companies for 35 years, and everybody at the top, they can press a button, dial somebody on a very tight, intimate level because they've taken their time to know them. And from that, they know how to marry a personality to an opportunity. I mean, you could have this crazy good attorney, but he's a New York style, and that's not going to work with the style over here. So again, the layers of the connection have to be methodically put together. And there are people that can straddle a lot of different worlds. But again, when you're packaging an opportunity, a deal, or referral, just understand your stakeholder, but their personality too. And again, people are like, well, he's great at widgets. Well, great, but.
Yeah. So there's some people who might maybe saying, because you guys are doing a lot with Tyson's this year, and I love it. I personally, I'm a fan of it. But there are people who are saying you're doing too much, right? What do you say to those kind of folks? And we've had a quick discussion about this. We can talk a little more about it briefly here, to elaborate a little more. But what are your thoughts on that? And I'll give you my thoughts after you do yours.
Yeah, too much could always, be a concern. But with that is, understanding what you're facing, and with that is when an opportunity comes out, you grab your team and you vet it. Okay, when it comes to an opportunity and the go, the no-go, like we had on the bidding scenario for the GovCon, is like you have talented people that literally you respect around you to saying, can we pull this off? Is it in our stakeholders' interest? And are we going to make money? And I say that from the chamber opportunity because when we make money, we reinvest it to grow. And that means our community grows. We're not a profit. We are about growth in our community. So again, it's a systematic approach with the right people. So when you're growing too fast, they don't understand the talent around you. Okay. And when you invite somebody to the dialogue saying, that's a great point. And let me show you to our marketing plan. Let me go you to our financial model. And then when they see the richness of what you've thought through, it's wild, but they're more in the game than ever. Because I love people who question. I mean, because they have a stake in it. And they're like, anybody who challenges me makes an opportunity for me to really make a relationship.
Well, we must have a really good relationship because I challenge you all the time, especially about your microphone. Different conversation. Meyer, good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Meyer's a good friend of mine. I've known Meyer for 16 years. 16 years, actually. I met him back in college. Believe that or not, like way back in college. When I went to GW, I think I went to GMU with he went to GMU with a couple of my friends. But good to see you, man. Glad to see you're doing well, and I'm glad you know him too, Andrew. He's good dude to know. Good CPA. For those of you looking for CPA, Meyer's awesome. He's a good guy.
Well, I almost think I'm going to take that to the next level. I met him at the Tower Club, again, a sistership over there. Introduction to Jeff Browse. Again, from that, Mayor, old school. We had a couple lunches. He brought in his business partner.
Speaking of old school.
Well, he's just so rich in talent. I mean, it's one thing, and I love my background, knowing accounting, tax, estate, and all the things with growth. But he marries it to a whole nother extraordinary level, into the technology. He knows the modeling for growth and exiting. You talk to somebody who knows that before you start, you have the exit in mind. Oh my God, they get it because the backers, the monies, the other stakeholders, that's their goal. So when you have someone like Mayor at the front of the table, and I think he's already been tapped to now run another company, but he's always going to be at the forefront, and his partner is a genius in accounting.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to your point, exactly. Like you start with the end in mind, right? And I think that's why I don't like the idea of doing too much. Because as long as you have the end in mind, you're not doing too much. And as long as you're able to hold yourself accountable and say to yourself, okay, you know what, I can get this done if I do this way. If I delegate, if I have the appropriate people in place, put them in place to do what they need to do and trust them to do what they need to do. If you're micromanaging every little piece of the process, yes, you are doing too much, right? But if you have people and trust and you hired them for a reason or brought them on your team for a reason, and you trust them, you really trust them, you're not doing too much. As long as you're delegating effectively, knowing what you're doing, and you have the end in mind, always have the end in mind, then you're not doing too much. You're doing enough to keep things going and keep things building. It is possible to grow too fast, but only if you don't do it with the end in mind. Again, because you're not. That's the ultimate key. You're not holding yourself accountable. You're not doing some things effectively in the way you want to do them. So yeah.
Again, stealing playbooks. It's just everything coming down to a methodology is in a process. It's like, okay, we're growing incredible. But with that is our onboarding. You know, first of all, I'll have a lunch. Then it goes to the next team to meet more people. Then it goes to another team to meet more neighbors. Because if somebody joins the chamber and right away they've met, 20 different people with different things, with shared visions, okay, they're enrolled ASAP. I see the old school is you show up at a networking fund, you get introduced to a dentist, you get a little frustrated, you hang out for a couple times and nothing gets done. That model here is dead, okay? So everything we're doing is a process. When we looked at like the car show on March 7th, there's 240 cars, but again, it's knowing events. It's like, okay, how many spaces, how many vendors, what's the timetable, what's this, what's our marketing campaign? And from that, what have we done similar that we can just apply now? Because everything, it's literally, I tell the team, if we can just push a button for the next event, I don't mind putting a little extra time and effort and energy on the first one, but shame on us if you keep fighting and running, swimming upstream. So that's why I look at growth is this event feeds, the March 7th feeds to the restaurant week, and in April, the April feeds to the next event. So the process is using every event to promote the next, to keep the momentum, because momentum, my God, the thought of inertia, it takes so much effort to start from scratch. And when you have an audience, here we just did a GovCon, a simple webinar, but we had 13,000 views, from our campaign from Facebook. And that was credit to the genius of Kevin Schaefer over at Industrious. But again, we'd never done it before. It cost us dirt, incredibly effective. But again, I'm looking, how do we do it? How do we do it repetitively? But how do we do it efficiently, man?
Yeah. No, and I also love the fact that, and this is more of a call out to you, but I love the fact that you highlight different folks as they're doing stuff, like Kevin, like Mayor, like myself, whenever appropriate. It's like you don't shy away from passing credit along when it's deserved, and I think that's awesome. I think that's huge in terms of growing the Tyson's community, growing any small business community, frankly. But any organization you're a part of where credit is shared and people are respected and recognized for delivering good content, good work, that's an organization that people want to be a part of for a good reason, right? Because you're highlighting those folks, and that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, frankly, or this show, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's a podcast. It's a live stream. It's a thing. When I started this thing, one of the big ideas was to actually highlight small businesses and local small businesses, ideally. But honestly, any small business that wants to exposure and I made that I'm happy to showcase and talk about that I think people could give value to people. I'm happy to showcase them here. And like for example, your situation where you're a collection of small businesses, right? Tyson's Chamber is an amazing opportunity for small business to one, collaborate, two, get showcased, and three, really reinvest in the community, in the local community that really could really help to grow the community as well and grow Tyson's.
Yeah,
I agree with Mayor. He is always shouting out talented small biz colleagues. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, literally, you got to live your word. Everything here is connections that matter. I've had people saying, I'd love to join the chamber. And I'm like, why? Okay, I got to get to know you to figure if it's a fit. From that, because really, I don't be selling vapor. If there's a context, which is a natural fit, like fall restaurant, we had people from, far enough away where I felt like it wasn't going to be impactful to them for the money they're going to, put towards me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but again, there was like the Reston Chamber, which is an amazing chamber. Here, go next door. This is your home. And even though literally our reach goes from here to Chicago and beyond, there's some initiatives that just make sense, and other ones we can call down to Tyson's.
But that's important. That's an important distinction to make, is like, what's your ultimate goal? Again, starting with the end in mind, why do you want to join the Tyson's Chamber? What do you kind of get out of it? And is it a good fit? Like, you could approach this completely differently. Like, oh yeah, let's take all the members you possibly can have, and then just build up all have an amazing membership amount of fees coming in from membership, right? And then that person, those 100 people out of 150 don't get any value out of it, and then they're not going to come back. They're not going to renew. They're not going to come back and be like, they're going to be like, oh, that guy Andrew, yeah, he sold me a bill of goods, right?
You get crushed. I mean, everything, every part of business is the long play. I mean, the fool comes in and like tries to hustle. Oh my God, it's just cringe. I mean, literally, in the sense of the paradigm shift of this is changing in my head, just throwing out the old model, the chamber. Okay. People got to come in with a reason and a purpose, and it's got to make sense. So from that, we created verticals. Right off the bat, onboarded 20 restaurants within the first 2 months, and then put together a restaurant week. You know, from that, we connected to the buildings, which have the patrons for the restaurants. The buildings started advertising directly for the restaurants. The restaurants soared between 50 and 70%, you know, and have gone up since our event. And again, it's the connection. So now, you know, we're onboarding the buildings. It's just like, listen, we're going to create community events. We're going to put the car shows. We're going to put something, you know, music around on your rooftop. We're going to showcase your beautiful panoramic views so your patrons stay. Your patrons stay. Oh, look, they'll look at other opportunities here in Tysons. So to your point, there's no, in and out is silly, man. It's looking at the people and explaining the reason. So we created the verticals, the restaurants, the buildings, the gov, all these, but everybody has a reason in the community they're in. And again, there's cross-pollination.
No, I love that. I love that a lot, honestly. And so yeah, I mean, the more people can do that, and taking that and extrapolating it out to other organizations. If you're running an organization or you have the opportunity to work in an organization where it's like the Tysons Chamber, where it is a membership organization, or it's just an organization that thrives on connections, focus on those connections, help people understand that not every connection is good for them. I mean, I'm a member of a couple different networking organizations, and there are some where they're only after memberships. They don't care what the value that the member actually is. They care about getting more people in the door, and it's quantity over quality as opposed to the other way around. Whereas the Tysons Chamber, sustainability wise, you're looking at a long-term goal, long-term relationship building process where you're saying, you know what, I want you to come in here. I want you to be a member of this, because not just because we'll get your membership fee, but because you'll get value yourself, and also give value to other members. And that's the real give and take of the situation, where it's like growing the organization organically in a way that everybody wins, everybody grows, everybody gets success out of it. And it's not where you're actively saying, let's just recruit for the sake of recruiting, because you can have 1,000 members, and if they're not giving value, what's the point?
Yeah, but the coolest part, I just, you know, it's interesting. You have a vision, and then the discovery along the way is when you're having lunch and you're getting to know people, and you find out intimacy in their passions and their give. When they feel they're being a part of something, that's unbelievable, because they're like, you know, I appreciate the business and the leads, and then it follows suit is, how can I help? I mean, literally, once you get to that point of that, you know, that's it, game over. Because literally, you know, what we do, yes, we promote businesses, but we're part of the community, and there's a little extra give in us. I mean, it's like whether it's a canned food drive, it's a, you know, we are strictly volunteers. So when you have the people from the get-go that feel a part, that sentence that finishes, how can I help? Yeah. My God, that's it.
And that's the difference between an organization and a community, right?
Yeah.
You're building a community. You're not building an organization. You have an organization or a company or something like that. It's very sterile. It's very like just transactional. This is what we're here for. Limited purpose. We're out. You know what I mean? We've got this done. A, B equals C. We're done. Let's go. But a community is like you said. How can I help? How can we take this further? We've done this job now we came to do, and let's see if we can take it further. Let's build it up. Let's expand it next time. Let's try to make it, have it grow and grow and grow, and build that inertia you're talking about. That inertia is the difference between community and organization, right? Just a membership thing.
And also learning that, you know, doing it by ourselves is silly. Yeah. I mean, I have to tell you, I literally just had lunch with District Supervisor Palchek. What an amazing lady, amazing story. Her dedication to the community and her initiatives, which she'll share herself, but just being a part of that conversation and where it's going to lead to. I mean, I've been in the conversation, and Drew, we had over lunch regarding Leadership Fairfax. I mean, these impact players, Capital One with their leadership training, Georgetown University with their leadership. I mean, what permeates DC, and I'm sure in all the others, but I get to, be washed by this whole experience of DC and the talent factor. And they get leadership. And it's sort of a nice evolution where people were like managers, and that shifted. And I don't know when, but just watching people lead in every capacity, like, I mean, from food for others, stepping up to the teachers, leading in to adapting. I mean, this whole pandemic has been an extraordinary experience in watching people rise. And again, I've seen and celebrated some of those people rising. So it's treasure to be near them.
Absolutely. And to your point, I mean, I think that it's worth calling out good leadership when we see it, because there's so much bad leadership, or not, I wouldn't call leadership, just bad people who are in leadership positions. Not bad people, but just horrible leaders, right? I mean, they're not good leaders. There's a lot of people in organizations that have no business being in those leadership positions that are actually ruining those organizations, right? And when you have something like what you're talking about, also you being in the position you're in right now, having that someone in a position where you have a vision, you have a clear idea of how to grow this thing, how to build it, and make sure that it's effective and it's doing what it needs to be done, what it needs to do, and you're inspiring people to continue to recontribute, to put that energy back into the organization. Like you said, it's all volunteer. When you have a volunteer organization, people always complain about volunteer organization nonprofits, like, oh, you can't force people to do what they want to do. They're weekend warriors, blah 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 blah. But the problem is motivation. If you haven't motivated people, gotten people invested in the organization in such a way that they're getting value out of it, and they want to recontribute that value and that energy they're getting out of it into the organization, then you have a problem with leadership, right? And you have a problem.
No, I agree. It's, being a volunteer, if somebody comes to my organization helping my job is to clear traffic, add resources, because honestly, when volunteering becomes a job, it dies. I mean, It's not that hard. And I'm sure that can be extenuated out to any, thing. But I look at it is I've got leaders all around me. I mean, there's anybody on my board could step into my position. I mean, I just get to be able to harness, listen, and get out of the way. I mean, it's beautiful in the sense of here I'm sitting and there's another meeting going on that I know of. And I saw the notes and I looked at, Vicky and Dane. I'm like, you guys good? I think it good. And I know they're good because I've seen them. I work with them. I'm like, whatever you guys decide, we're good. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. I mean, that's how growth happens. It's just, as you said, the freedom to believe, but having worked enough with people, because I've gone too fast before. And I guess that's why I look at fast now is in measured steps, is who I hand the baton to, now that we've broken bread, we've done stuff before. And if I haven't done stuff directly, my key players and dear friends have too. And when they're vouched from the inner circle, that's big. So that's the only way in the sense of traveling the speed we are is just harnessing the talent and getting out of the way.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I mean, so for you personally, like what are your personal goals for the long term, or for the time that you're the chairman of the Tyson's Chamber? I mean, what do you want to see happen this year?
Well, I want to just continue what we're doing, honestly, in the sense of building out the verticals and giving literally, when Visit Fairfax, who's helped and give us our resource, we go back to them like we've done with their chocolate initiative is how can we promote you? Literally with the district supervisor, how can we help you? Because the Fairfax EDA, another juggernaut. I mean, if you walk the halls of that organization, it's like every idea you had in business, they're bringing live. I mean, from business initiative to diversity, it's just spectacular. So again, in looking what your neighbors are doing is enhancing them. It's like, hey, would you mind talking? Because you've got it. And I look at all the things I want to doing what people are not doing. It's like there's somebody, if there's a blue ocean and there's an opportunity, there's pain in the marketplace, and we have the talent to drive it, done, check, check, check. So then that goes through the decision tree. And from my ideas, there's a round table around me, my board, my EC. I don't know. All I do is really invite people to join Tyson's, but do it, kick the tires, get to know the team, call them up. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's nothing, people are like, how do I, ready? Their emails are posted. I mean, yeah.
Nice. No, I love that. And like I said, I'm excited to be part of it. For folks who want to get more information and talk, we'll put the links down below in the description. But do you want to tell us like where folks can go to get more information?
Yeah, I mean, TysonEarnsChamber.com. With that, you Google it, it's there. From that, our admin Barry's a rock star in the sense of conversations. But literally, I mean, post my information. I would love. I mean, literally is from that, and I find the people who reach out are the people, the change makers. People who want, tomorrow I'll think about it. Okay, it won't happen. I'm not worried about them. The people that are watching and listening and doing, that's what I want to capture, because it's unbelievable with that spirit. Their bandwidth is almost exponential. It's just getting the right resources and people around them. So that's why I appreciate being on today. After meeting you and seeing you in action, having you being part of the team, that's why I was just, when you said, hey, would you mind? I may have ran through the door to get the phone. Yes. Okay. Because it's who you are. I've seen you in action. I've seen what you've done. I saw how you helped our organization. Dude, I got your back because you had mine beforehand.
I really appreciate it, man. And it just, so for those who don't know, today we didn't have a guest lineup for our live stream today, and I pinged Andrew on Tuesday, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm down." He jumped in a pinch, and that was my bad for not scheduling someone for today, but he filled in, and that was phenomenal. I'm glad you did it because I'm glad we had this conversation. Dude. I think it's huge. I'm actually excited about the car show next month. But yeah, so I mean, what are some other events? So the car show next month, April. You had what's happening in April?
So just to traverse over our year, March on the car show. April, we're going to do our first of this year, Restaurant Week. We'll do the second one in October. Throughout the year, I mean, again, celebrating our restaurants is having chefs, literally round tables, live Facebook feeds. And again, the audience is from the local community watching in a very safe, and again, the methodology for that to happen will be evolving because, again, nothing happens without safety. Play the fool to ignore the rules. God, I sound like Dr. Seuss. Listen, there's ways to get it done. And again, the protocols and put safety first. But with that, when you just think through the problem, my God, the chef talks monthly throughout the year, live with a competition with the chefs. From that fun camaraderie that gives money back to the community on fundraising. Even the car show. Oh my God, we're raffling off a Lamborghini Huracan for the day. And again, all the proceeds go to Food for Others. I mean, literally, the people, the ground floor are helping daily in the sense of, call it almost a crisis level of doing it. So what we can do to support, and then really bring a harness business who wants to help too, do it in the right way.
Yeah, and that's extremely, especially right now with everything happening over the past year, and who knows how long in terms of getting things back to normal, right? I mean, it's extremely important to try to do whatever you can, even if you're not in Tyson's area, find a local organization, and if you care about that kind of thing, try to help support them as much as you can, because local businesses, especially restaurants and entertainment industries, bars, restaurants, those kind of things, they're suffering right now. And so I love the work that you're doing right now. I love what you guys are doing in Tyson's. I'm happy to be part of it. And whatever you guys can do, whatever I can do for you guys, let me know. Please let me know. And for those of you who are interested, like I said, we'll put his information below in the chat, but not in the chat, in the description. Sorry, but so much to keep track of. But it's Tyson'sChamber.com. Feel free to reach out to Andrew. Andrew, anything you want to leave folks with, last minute thoughts, quips, anything like that? You are Dr. Seuss. If you want to come up with a rhyme, feel free to do that.
No, Mayor. Well, I guess I can't see him on the thread here, but again, I mean, just seeing him on the thread here, I mean, it speaks to the volume and the richness of the community you've already created. Yeah. I mean, when I look at anything in growth, you look at the leaders, okay? People like that don't stand alone. So from having you on the board, what you committed to, what you do, and for me, it's like jumping on this call because literally being part of the tapestry that you've woven and the fabric you're, putting together, that's crazy for us. I mean, thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And Meyer, maybe we may have to do like a Tyson's rap video for TikTok or something. We can do. We will not have Andrew on there after that.
Oh!
Actually, no, we'll have you on there. We'll just have you with your normal mic situation so no one can hear you.
Oh! Wow. Gotta love the end of the show, people.
Yeah, this is where it all falls apart, everybody. All right. Well, listen, guys. Thank you so much. I think we're out of time. We're at 30 minutes right now. But Andrew, thank you so much, man. This has been awesome. I'm excited to be part of the chamber this year. Excited to help you guys grow, help myself grow, help everyone, all the businesses grow together. Because I really do believe all ships rise with the tides, especially small businesses. Honestly, I think we can. A. Clark Kizzle. Wow.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Woo!
there you go. You got your official rap name now. I don't know if that's, I'm not sure if that's got the street cred it needs with it, but it should be cool. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I just I can kill any street kid in a heartbeat. It's amazing the talent and lack of talent I have. So,
well, that in itself is a talent. So, I mean,
oh, dude, I love it. I mean, it's so funny on a whole nother segment on that, watching that on Netflix and the crazy talent, because I love music in every genre. And that's again, we're bringing music to Tyson's. And so everything that wasn't there that should be, and bring it through a methodical approach and making sure the stakeholders will back it, then it's a go. So again, it's fun, it's exciting. The invitation's open for those who want to join us, be a part. And again, I can't thank you enough for just being here today. And hopefully, with any luck, being invited back. Just putting it out there.
Maybe once you get the rap name official, we'll do that. We'll bring you back. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. Meyer, thanks so much. Michelle, good to see you always. Thanks for tuning in all the time, supporting the show. For those of you who like this video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, just hit like and comment. Feel free. And yeah, thanks again, guys. See you on Monday for the next live stream, and then next Thursday for Chat with Coaches. Take care.